2 days ago marked 10 years since Erik Cassel, the co-founder of Roblox, unfortunately died of cancer. Now, I was looking around, seeing if anyone mentioned it before I made this video, and I could only find one person who actually mentioned anything, this guy Bloxy News on YouTube. I went on the Roblox Twitter account, see if I refresh the page here, you'll see there's nothing mentioning about him, just this thing from the 10th, whatever the hell this is meant to be. But there's no mention of Erik, even though it's the 10-year anniversary since he died. You'd have thought they'd maybe say something, considering he was the co-founder, but I guess he's not that important to Roblox anymore. Now, if I go on here, so on YouTube, type in Erik Cassel, see this is that one, Bloxy News, nothing else except from like 10 years ago when he actually died. Well, at least someone remembered.
10 years ago.
I'm not going to play the whole video though because it's not mine, but go and watch it if you want a summary of Erik. Now, if I go here, about here, 420.
On what the Roblox platform is today. In an interview with Bloomberg last year, when asked about what Erik would think of what Roblox has become, CEO David Baszucki had this to say.
You mentioned your co-founder, Erik Cassel, earlier, who died tragically of cancer in 2013. If he was here today, what do you think he would think of the Roblox that Roblox has become?
Wow, I think he'd be proud. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Like, I think he would, his both of his sons have worked at the company a bit. So yeah, I think he'd be very proud.
Seems like you miss him.
He's just such a brilliant partner, yeah. And he also set the standard for taking the long view on how we engineer things. A lot of the technology at Roblox is still, like, his vision lives on.
And it goes back to your advice for your 40s. Life is short.
It is.
Thank you all so much.
So that was an interview from last year, and David was asked about what he thought Erik would think about Roblox today. And, well, I don't think he'd be proud. I think he'd be rather horrified. But, of course, he's not around to tell us. But this, Roblox has strayed so far from his original vision that it's almost unrecognisable. Roblox used to be the online building toy, but now it's just the online money-making machine designed to squeeze as much out of you as possible. Now, Roblox weren't doing badly. They were always making money off of Builders Club and people buying Robux, but they needed to make more, apparently, and so they decided to make Developer Exchange, which came out later that year in 2013, 1st of October to be exact. It's hard to say whether that wouldn't have happened if Erik was still alive, but it is a fact that Roblox's general direction changed completely after he went. So I can say that good old Roblox died with Erik Cassel, and I think I'd be correct. Even if it didn't change exactly on that day, it certainly set the course for Roblox to turn into the monster that it is today. So you remember when you used to have all the building games, like build your own whatnot, build a boat to survive, just stuff like that, or the classic games like Paintball and Base Wars. You haven't got any of those now. It's just, should we have a look actually? So Discover, let's go on the front page. I mean, you still got Kart Ride and stuff. I mean, those are just updated classics, really. Actually, it's funny that these have returned, because there was a while where you didn't even see stuff like these, but then you've got stuff like, where was it? Jailbreak, stuff like that. you could play the whole game and you won't even see a stud, because that's how far from Roblox those games had gone. Like, it was just models and textures, terrain, but there were no studs, no bricks. You couldn't blow things to pieces. Like, that's what Roblox was all about. And then all that changed after Developer Exchange came out, because instead of people making games for fun, people were now making games to squeeze as much Robux out of players as possible. I mean, it started with game passes. Yes, I know you had VIP shirts, but they tended to be... You could buy them with ticks, so you could save up. They only tended to be maybe 100 or 200 at most for VIP shirt, and then you had that forever. Then they had game passes, which was a way of, I guess, making that easier. I think VIP shirts were fine, though, the way they were working. But game passes were a more official way of doing it. But then you started getting, like, game passes for certain gears and stuff. More game passes for specific things in the game. And then you had, like... You've just got these in-game microtransactions where you've got skins and items. You even have loot box systems in some of these games, and it's just not what Roblox was, and it's not what it was supposed to be. So I do not believe that Erik Cassel would look at this today and think, yeah, this is exactly what I wanted it to be. I don't think it is, okay? And I'm not saying, like, David Baszucki is, like, some evil guy, like Dr. Evil, but it's like, without Erik to keep him in check, he can just go off and do what he wants, whereas before, they had to both agree on their decisions. But those building games, they don't work anymore, because they removed hopper bins, and like, all the big studios took over. But, like, you can't even play them anyway, because Roblox has broken all that stuff through updates. So, like, hopper bins, some people probably don't even know what hopper bins were now, but they were like, you could have the copy tool hopper bin or the delete tool hopper bin. They were built-in tools that you could choose for, so when you inserted a hopper bin into the studio, you could choose from a menu which one to have. There were a bunch of default options, or you could pick custom and script your own hopper bin. But these default hopper bins, they just worked so well, and like, I tried to recreate the copy tool and the move tool after they were removed, and I could never get it to work exactly like they used to. I'm pretty sure they were doing things that you can't even do in scripts, because they were built into the engine. I could never get it to work exactly like they did, as well as they did. Yeah, this is my profile. The wave, I mean, that's broken now. And part of the fun of that was the music as well. They've gone and removed all of that, which I know that's for a different reason. One could say, though, it might not have been so bad if Roblox hadn't got as big as it did, because of, like, the expansion after Developer Exchange. No, not experiences, I want people. Let's go in his inventory. Audio. See, half of them are gone, and the others you can't even play. This is the only one I've got in my inventory, but you can't play that either. They're all broken. And that's something that changed as well later that year. In 2013, by the end of the year, users could upload their own audio. So that really changed the feel of the game, because you used to have like 30 different songs that you could use. They were the only pieces of music you could use, because they were uploaded by the Roblox admins. And so when people refer to, like, Roblox music, the old music, that's what they mean. Because you would often hear the same songs in different games because that is the only choice you had. But if they were used well, they were never boring. They were quite nice, actually, hearing some of them. I liked Positively Dark, especially because they were all compressed. I actually quite liked that. Some of them were slowed down, and a lot of the time, I think people just assume that's how they were meant to be. But if you change the pitch, it would bring it back to the how it should sound. But a lot of people just kept them how they were, and so you'd have these slowed down songs. They had a completely different tone to them, though, which kind of fit certain games. Another thing they changed, actually, was the skybox. I mean, they could have changed that anyway. It's hard to say whether any of these changes wouldn't have happened if he was still around, but I don't think it would be quite what it is today if he was around. I just don't think they'd have gone down this direction. I don't actually remember the really old skybox because I joined in 2010. I'll show you guys because I mentioned it in the other video. This was my original account, but I struggled to get in. I did say, like in the other video, I kind of forgot my password, but then I managed to get it right. I was just like putting the wrong letter. See, I joined like right at the end of 2010. I think I would have played for a week or two, maybe more, as a guest on a guest account. But yeah, I don't remember old Roblox, but I remember what it was like between like 2010 and 2013, and I know that they were pretty good years because it's like everything was still working. All the older games were still working, but then you also had like a lot of new stuff like the dialogue boxes, but even those are broken now. If you know what dialogue boxes are, then you're an older player. But they're all broken now. Gamers don't use them anymore, or people, they make like their own versions. I don't want this video to go on too long, and I don't think there's really anything else that I need to say in this. So I'm going to end it here, but if you agree, then tell me in the comments, or if you disagree, tell me. I'm interested in hearing what everyone else thinks about this, but I think I can safely say that Roblox died when Erik Cassel died. Thanks for watching.